All right. Hello and welcome back to the Wealth Building for Dummies podcast. My name is Kyle Demian. I'm joined here with Renji Matthew as always, and we're back with another episode. We took a couple-week break, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is what to do when life throws you a curveball, when obstacles come up and how to overcome them, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as a business owner, and especially as a parent, right, Renji? I want to congratulate Renji and his wife, Nina. They welcomed in their second child, Baby Ty, as we're calling him. And Baby Ty is here. He's about a month early, though. So it was a little bit unexpected, a little bit of an obstacle as he had plans for this next month to lead up to it. But Renji, how does it feel to be a father again to a brand new baby?
I still can't believe we have two kids. But yeah, like Kyle said, it's a curveball, right? It's not an obstacle by any means because it's a blessing. It definitely is a blessing to have kids, but it's a curveball in the sense we had all these plans laid out. It was like, okay, we're gonna fix this room up for our first son and move the office to another room and all these plans. And we even had friends arrange to come help me move things. And then baby comes early. So it's, he came 5 weeks early. Thankfully, he was healthy enough. We didn't have to worry about going to the NICU or anything, and we were able to come home. But part of this podcast, we want to talk about what happens when you had plans laid out, right? And things come your way that might seem like an obstacle. It could be a blessing in disguise. It could derail all your plans. You know, what do you do in those seasons in life? What do you do when you have a path laid out for yourself, for business or for life itself? And when things come your way, what do you do in those senses?
Absolutely. And I did have quite a few people in my comments actually comment in and say congrats. So did want to share that with you while we're live here. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we do go live when we do these podcasts on Tuesday mornings at about 9 a.m. or so Eastern time. So if you guys want to tune in, go follow us on TikTok. But yeah, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, these obstacles always get thrown your way, right? And if you're brand new, sometimes these obstacles can stop a lot of people and sometimes get people to actually quit and leave their business as a whole. So like Renji, there was a good quote from Michael Jordan that you shared yesterday inside of our community that we have, our school community, which by the way, if you guys want to join, we'll put a link right below the video. But share with us like what Michael Jordan had to say about obstacles.
Yeah, his quote was, "Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or walk around it." That was a quote by Michael Jordan, and he is a person that's faced so many obstacles. If you guys know his story, you know, he was dropped from his varsity team in high school, you know, and so many obstacles throughout his life. That's the thing with high performers or business owners that are at the top of their game. They've gone through obstacles. They face the same obstacles that any person does, right? But the difference between them and just a regular person is they've gone through those obstacles. They've made changes. Either they've gone through them and run through that wall, or they made changes to go around and build around that and make those weaknesses even stronger. You know, they became different in the sense all the weaknesses that they had that were roadblocks, they made it their strengths, right? So one of the analogies we like to use, or acronyms we like to use, is B.U.M.P, B-U-M-P. And Kyle, if you want to go into those and we can go back and forth on what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the B stands for to just breathe, right? Take a breath, take a step back, and then you understand and assess the situation. From there, you then M, make a plan to overcome it and to get out of it. And then P is to proceed and just take the action and implement that plan that you just made, right? And that kind of comes from the idea that success isn't necessarily just a straight road and a straight path, but it's filled with twists and turns and speed bumps, right? So you have to take the speed bumps as just that, as a bump, you know, not a barrier, not a blockade, but It's just a speed bump along the road to success. And if you guys think about it, some of probably the greatest books you've ever read, the greatest stories you've ever heard, the greatest movies you've ever watched, they all had a great storyline. And a great story always has problems, right? That one person has to overcome. And that brings you to like the climax of the story. And the best part is typically when that person overcomes that problem, overcomes that complication, and comes out on the other side, hopefully as a success, right? So with that, that's the B.U.M.P method. Renji, was there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah. So anytime an obstacle comes your way, make it like I was thinking about this the other day. Think of it as just a speed bump. What does a speed bump do? Whenever you're driving on the road, when there's a speed bump, you slow down, right? Because you don't want your car to jump. So whenever an obstacle is thrown your way, a wrench is thrown in your plans, whatever it is, let it be a speed bump more than a roadblock, right? Don't let it stop you completely. Especially if you have plans for as an entrepreneur or in life itself, you thought you wanted to do something and you set out plans to do it that way, and there's a speed bump that comes. Don't let it actually turn into a roadblock that stops you from continuing in that plan, right? Make it a speed bump more so. That way you're just slowing down. You're taking a breath, you're reassessing your situation, and you might have to make changes to your plan, or you're just making it, it's just a turn, right? That you can come back to. I think that makes me think of that meme where my plan is this, and you have a straight line to your goal. Then God's plan is you go doing all of these, and then you get to the end, right? It's kind of like that. It's all those turns that you have to take are just a journey for you to be the person you're meant to be. That's all it is. If you didn't go through struggles, or if you didn't have obstacles in your life, you might not be the person you were meant to be, right? Because those are what gives you the growth that you need to grow to get to that end spot. Because a lot of times, that's all struggles are. That's all obstacles are. It's to help you grow. But if we let them stop us, then it's the devil wins, right? We don't let it stop us. We just, same thing. We use the B.U.M.P method, right? We breathe, we understand what happened, and we make plans to your existing plan, or you change the plans, and then you proceed, right? You take action. And that's how you get to the end goal, instead of letting it stop you on your route. Because if you stop, again, you have to go back to your why. Why are you doing all of this, right? If you have a strong why, a roadblock it'll just be a bump. It won't be a block stopping you to get to your goal.
Absolutely. One thing you just mentioned too was about who you come out as on the other side. And Alex Hormozy has he's done a podcast or something talking about where if you wanted to build mental toughness, or if you wanted to be someone that had mental toughness, would you purposely put yourself through an easy life? Like, having an easy life isn't going to build mental toughness. And so if you wanted to be a person with patience, you wouldn't practice getting everything in immediately, and having, you wouldn't have the gratitude for what it takes to have patience, so it's like, if you want to have a successful life, if you want to, overcome these obstacles and be a better person at the end, you've got to do just that. You have to overcome them. You have to realize that everything isn't going to be easy. And entrepreneurship isn't easy. Being a parent isn't easy. I wouldn't know, but you do. And that's life, so whatever you guys are doing, keep on going.
Something that goes along with that too. Our first son, many of you guys that have been following us know that he's autistic. We didn't have those plans, right? We had, my wife and I had all these plans of, what he's going to be like, what road he's going to go down through. And then once we learned that he's autistic, it's like all those plans you made, at first it felt like, man, I don't know. We don't know what to do. How are we, we're not equipped to raise an autistic child. But when God gives you a path, he always makes a way for those, right? And we just have to be willing to take that and go with it, right? So again, if we would have just stopped, what are we going to do with him? Right? So there's things that will go your way sometimes, and then there's things that will go totally different directions that you might not even be thinking of, right? But that's in all those seasons, in business, in your family life, in your relationships, whatever it may be, you got to take a break, think about it, reassess it, and then see what action you need to take, because it might not end up the way you want it to. Sometimes those bumps could end you up in a better place than you ever imagined, right? So don't ever give up. Those bumps are just making you the person you meant to be. Yes, it might be a small struggle in that season, but your life is a bigger spectrum, right? There's a small bump in the road. That's all. You just have to go around it or go over it or whatever it is. Make changes, and there's people that you can always go to for resources, right? Because there's a lot of times what I think people think is, oh, I'm the only one going through this. And I think that's what gets people into that state of mind where they get depressed and all that stuff. There are plenty of people out there that are going through the same struggles you're going through. You just have to look for them, right? Because the good thing is we're in an age where everything is online. You can find what you're looking for online. There's enough encouragement out there that whatever you're going through, someone else has gone through that. Always think about that. There's someone else that's going through a worse time than you. So if you start with gratitude, like we talk about, start with gratitude always, because then those speed bumps will be things you're grateful for, right? Because it took you to the spot where you didn't think you could have gotten to.
Absolutely. Well, something you just mentioned, if you're going through something, search out other people that are potentially going through it too. And a couple months back, I tore my ACL and talk another obstacle I didn't even think of to talk about today. But I tore my ACL and I felt down and I was, upset with it, thinking I was the only one dealing with it. And then I found on Reddit, there was literally a whole community of people that are going through ACL tears, overcoming surgeries, sharing their successes. And like, I actually posted about it and a few people like reached out to me that were currently going through it too. One guy that was in, I think it's Australia. So it's like, you never know who you're going to meet, who could potentially, help you go through your scenario unless you're seeking and searching for those potential people that would be in your same shoes. And try Reddit. It worked for me when I tore my ACL. That's a good place to go for people that, questions on specific topics, can share their thoughts and their stories. It's a big forum. And that definitely helped me in seeing that, some people had it worse than me. There were some people that tore both of their ACLs at the same time somehow. So it's like, there's always, like you said, there's always people out there that are going through potentially something worse than what you are. And also there's people out there that have overcome it and are on the other side that can share with you, how they did it, their successes, their triumphs, just to give you hope. And a lot of the times that's what it comes down to, just having the hope and the desire and the tunnel vision to get through whatever it is that you're going through.
Yeah, and I think one of the devil's superpowers is to make you feel alone and feel lonely and make you feel like you're the only one going through those things, right? But we are meant to be a community, right? We're meant to live life together with other people. It's not about getting to the top on your own. You want to get there with other people so you can enjoy it with others, right? So seek out other people that might be going through the same struggles, because you're meant to go through victories and failures together with other people, because that's how you make stronger bonds and you get to spots where you couldn't have imagined getting to before on your own, right?
Absolutely. Well, with that, hope this video gave you guys some inspiration and some hope for whatever you're going through to just keep going. Keep doing it. If we could ever help, let us know. We'll have our social medias attached here. If you guys like this video, please give it a like, comment below your thoughts, and make sure to subscribe to our podcast. And with that, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.